A Labrador retriever burst into the clinic alone, bearing a wounded boy on his back. Someone murmured, "Oh man, is he breathing?" Medics paused in shock. No one knew his origins. No handler, no alert. His gaze fixed on the urgent care wing like he'd mapped it out in his sleep. Medics and aides surged ahead, but the dog snarled guardedly, blocking access to the kid. This wasn't a threat. It was a plea for aid. When an aide finally edged toward the boy, the dog snarled once more, not furious but frantic, like he was yelling, "Hurry up, he's fading fast!" One aide, shaking, muttered, "What got him like this? Where's his family?" Nobody had answers. Nobody got it. Some awful mess had befallen this boy, and this dog was his sole survivor. But nobody could guess the nightmare about to unravel. What came next stunned the whole clinic. Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe. And honestly, I'm wondering, where are you tuning in from? Drop your state in the comments. I dig seeing how these tales spread across the map. The clinic lobby hummed with its typical Thursday bustle, wheelchairs creaking, screens chirping, chatter bouncing off linoleum tiles. Folks missed the door easing open at first, but then a hush rippled through the space. A huge Labrador retriever hobbled in, his fur matted and his breaths ragged. Slung over his back was a young boy, out cold, his slim arms flopping limp. People halted in their tracks. An aide fumbled her tablet. Talks cut off sharp. No one could wrap their head around a dog hauling a child right into the urgent care zone. The dog didn't yap, didn't scan the room, didn't waver. He advanced with clear intent, like he'd patrolled these corridors 1,000,000 times. His stare stayed glued to the treatment bay doors, tuning out the murmurs swelling behind him. A guy in a scooter clapped a hand over his face. A front desk clerk breathed, "Is he okay?" A medic stood stock still, brain scrambling to catch up. The boy's hair was knotted, his shirt ripped, and his cheeks ghostly white. Still, the dog bore him with uncanny care, every stride measured and shielding. In a flash, chaos exploded. Aides dashed up, reflexes firing. "Grab a stretcher," one hollered, but as they closed in, the dog rumbled low. Not hostile, just a heads up. His frame dipped low, covering the boy. The crew halted dead. The dog's glance flicked at anyone inching nearer. It wasn't fury, it was dread. Dread that harm might strike again. The onlookers traded baffled looks. Who was this kid? How bad off had he been? And why did this dog play bodyguard? A security guy hung back from the swelling throng. "Should we restrain the mutt?" he hissed to a medic. But even he clocked this as no everyday drama. The dog's limbs quaked from fatigue. Yet he wouldn't let the boy budge from his back. A responder hunkered down, cooing easy, aiming to soothe. The dog's ears flicked, but he held ground. He just repositioned, keeping the boy secure, not yielding a touch till he trusted their vibe. Seconds on, a young aide named Sarah eased up slow, hands out, tone mild. "Easy there, fella. We're gonna fix him up." The dog's rigid frame loosened a tad, his look warming to her words. Sarah stretched out, cautious, letting him choose. At last, he dipped his muzzle, a quiet nod of faith. Sarah scooped the limp boy into her hold, but the dog shadowed tight, unwilling to lose sight. No one at the clinic had seen squat like this. Sarah clutched the limp boy firm, sensing his weak, raspy puffs against her collarbone. But the instant she pivoted to the treatment hall, the Labrador pressed in, striding alongside, not dropping a beat. Crew cleared paths, murmuring in awe as the dog stuck to Sarah's rhythm. His tail hung slack, ears pricked, gaze sweeping every shift nearby. Sarah clocked this as more than devotion. This was press. The dog wasn't tagging along. He was warding her and the boy. The corridor bulbs gleamed on the waxed tiles as Sarah hustled to the exam bay, pulse thumping. The dog synced her speed, circling her ankles guardedly whenever folks neared too swift. A medic hustled parallel, barking, "Gotta check him stat, let's roll." But when he reached to snag the boy from Sarah's grip, the dog's skull jerked high, a gruff chest rumble warning clear. The medic yanked back quick, spooked. It hit home. The dog picked Sarah solo. In the exam bay, gadgets hummed steady as Sarah eased the boy onto the table soft. The dog staked out by the table's end, rigid, eyeing every team twitch. One aide breathed, "He trained or what?" Another husked, "He's like he gets the drill." Sarah crept up slow, dropping to one knee by him. She stretched her limb out again, lobby style. "You nailed it hauling him here," she cooed low. The dog's huffs evened, clocking her timbre. A guy aide rolled in with gear, but the dog's bass rumble froze him mid-stride. Sarah popped up fast. "Hold up, he's spooked. Show him we're on his side," she pressed. The aide dipped his nod, slouched low, then inched on, palms up. After a stretched beat, the dog cleared him, though his stare held firm. His vibe eased, less fight, more fret. He wasn't gunning for blows. He was petrified of her slipping away. Minutes on, the medic looped back, urgent to Sarah. "Gotta shift him to scans for gut damage." The dog lunged ahead, jamming the threshold with his bulk. Sarah knelt fresh, cupping his jowls light. "She needs it, fine. I'll stick through it all." The dog batted slow, her lilt cooling him. After a drawn pause, he edged off, paws jittering from wear. Wounded, wary, he trailed as they carted the boy off, hell-bent on staying glued. The exam bay buzzed instant with hustle. Medics gloved up, aides tweaked screens, and gear whirred alive as Sarah stuck by the boy's flank. The Labrador rooted at the table's base like a mute watchman, peepers tracing every mitt near the kid. The head medic, Dr. Thompson, bent over the boy, scanning signs, scowling at the reads. "He's bone-dry bad," he grumbled. "Shock likely." Sarah gulped deep, wiping grit from the boy's mop. Her hurts screamed setup, and the dog's edgy prowl backed it. As Dr. Thompson tugged the boy's cuff, the air thickened. Faded welts like grip prints striped his arm. Some faded, some raw, fresh. An aide husked, "No tumble did that." The dog loosed a keen whine, nosing the table edge like pushing them to get it. The medic probed his pins next. More welts, wee gashes, cord-like grooves round his wrists. Sarah's ribs squeezed. "Somebody tied him down," she breathed. The crew swapped grim stares, clocking this kid hadn't strayed to peril. He'd been caged in it. Dr. Thompson pressed on, hiking the boy's shredded shirt a smidge to eye his belly. His mug soured quick. "All hands, scans, and bloods now. Gotta ID the mess." Sarah clasped the boy's mitt light, clocking a faint quiver under her pads. Sign he was clawing to hang tough. The dog piped another meek yip, edging near till his schnoz brushed the boy's limb. An aide tried nudging him back, but he dug in. His whole stance hollered guard with grit. The squad eased the boy to a rolling slab for picks. As it trundled, the dog tailed natural, tail drooped, puffs heavier. "He banged up too," somebody piped. Sarah peeked low and spotted crusted red by his flank. "He took hits hauling him," she said, throat knotted. An aide neared to poke him, but the dog whipped his dome up sharp, making her reel. Sarah dropped before him. "Us too, let us patch ya." He winked, ripped twixt ache and oath, picking the boy fresh. Ere they quit the exam bay, Dr. Thompson stalled, eyeballing the boy's torso as the screen glitched. His ticker dipped peril low. "He's tanking! Haul ass!" he bellowed. The space blew up anew. Sarah shoved the slab quicker while the dog hustled parallel, lurching but locked in. Crew yelled cues. Doors banged wide and buzzers wailed the passage. The dog barked anguished, the yelp keen and raw. Whatever hell the boy weathered, whatever trap he busted, now it was a sprint to snatch his spark. The passage quaked with haste as Crew rushed the boy to the scan suite. The Labrador hung stride with the slab, hobbling but no quit. His wheezes tore now, each suck keen, each blow quavery. Sarah clocked how his flank scraped faint, smearing the waxed deck. "He's tore worse than we figured," she husked. But on he drove, peepers pinned on the boy like his nearness alone pinned his pulse. Willpower propped him as his steam drained swift. They hit the scan doors where just core crew crossed. As they wheeled the boy in, the dog pushed to tail, but an aide soft-barred him. He yowled protest, scraped the panel, jammed his dome to the crack. Sarah knelt by, palm soothing on his brisket. "They'll mend him," she breathed, but his frame shook wild, split twixt faith and fright, bond and burn. When Sarah peeled to aid the medics, the dog swayed side. His pins folded a tick ere he righted, but plain his grit was gassing. A duo in the lounge eyed him worried. "That hound lugged him in," a dude breathed. "How many miles like that?" Another crewman neared to scan him, but the dog reared his noggin faint, loosing a weary rumble. Not mean, just must. He still figured he had to shield the boy. Ticks on. His steam crashed final with a meek gut-punch thump. The dog flopped to the deck. His brisket heaved fast, frame shuddering from drain. Sarah bolted back, hitting knees by him. Whoa, hang on," she begged, palms roving his pelt. Under grime and stiff crimson she felt blaze. Way too hot. His sinews spasmed from push. His ticker thrashed mad. This hound hadn't just dashed. He'd toted the boy leagues. A responder dropped by Sarah, eyeing his state. "He's parched bad. Fluids and fix now." Sarah bobbed urgent, but he won't budge sans trust. She met the dog's pooped, foggy peepers. "Let us in. You aced it all." Something thawed in his stare. Worn nod. Slow, sore, his dome sank to the tile. He took the hoist to a cart, no fight. Out cold, his mug stayed aimed at the scan doors, still straining to sentry the boy he'd near croaked to snatch. In the scan suite, the squad flew fierce. Rigs hummed hot as the boy's frail frame got set under the beam. Sarah stuck by, gripping his wee mitt, clocking how iced it ran. "Hang tough, champ," she breathed. Dr. Thompson tracked the feeds, brow knotted tight. Blots and glitches popped quick. "Bloat, gut bleed, gut hit, maybe?" Sarah's gut dropped. The boy wasn't just bashed. He was crashing swift. Out front, wee yaps bounced the hull. The hound battling blackout in his broke state. Ticks dragged like drags. The pick rapped, and the squad hauled the boy to a rigged crash pad. Sarah clung near, grip iron. The dog, still carted, reared his dome faint as she wheeled past. His peepers warmed, a dim glint of know-how through hurt. "He's scrapping," Sarah husked, grazing her digits on his jowl. The dog's ears flicked like schooling her he knew. He'd borne that fire on his back clear to haven. In the crash pad, aides jabbed drips and eyed his wobbly signs. Dr. Thompson snapped fast calls. "Transfuse, heat pads, breather aid." An aide rechecked the cord scars on his wrists, head shake. "Somebody engineered this," she breathed. Sarah felt a knot climb her gullet. She petted the boy's mop soft, tone scarce. "You're good now. We got your 6. The boy gave zilch. Just his brisket ticked faint, each puff thin and frail, like gripping life on last chords of steam. Out the bay, a huddle of medics chewed the pick deets. Sarah eavesdropped edgy as Dr. Thompson laid it. Gut splits, blunt bash likely, knife work pronto, another medic quizzed. Stable ride? Dr. Thompson hung a hair, but sans fix, he's toast. Sarah shut her peepers, letting his weight land. She eyed the boy back, so pint-sized, so beat, yet somehow still scrapping. It steeled her grit. She strode up. Wheel now. The hound dragged him for cause. We ain't flopping. The squad carted the boy to the knife wing, klaxons blaring as his signs dipped anew. Sarah paced him, mitt steady o'er the boys, rock-solid calm. As they wheeled past the dog cart, he strained to rear, yipping meek. Sarah grazed his pad. Heading to the chop shop, she ain't solo. His frame eased, faithful. The knife bay flaps banged wide. Sarah hauled air deep, crossed with the squad, and breathed one last vow to the zonked boy. We'll yank you through. While cutters toiled back sealed flaps, the clinic passage thickened with strain. 2 bouncers neared the cart, cradling the beat Labrador. Gotta shift the pooch to quarantine, one barked. Restricted turf. The other bobbed, inching with wary mitts. But the tick they grazed the cart, the dog's peepers flashed. A bass caution rumble thrummed his chest. Beat to hell, he shoved half upright. No way to yank from the boy's knife bay. The bouncers swapped squirrely peaks. He's tore, one pushed. Needs doc, too. But the dog's rumble sank deeper, booming the passage. Sarah hustled from the knife wing, post-ruckus. Belay! She yelled, wedging twixt bouncers and cart. He's freaked, no shove. The bouncers dropped mitts, eyeing as the dog strained to stand. Legs quaked wild under load, but no lash. Pure gut, no split. Sarah knelt by fresh palm light on his withers. Still under the blade, she breathed. The dog's puffs raced, edgy, stare darting the flaps. Brass had shut post-Sarah. Sudden, his ears flicked. Stance snapped taut. He whipped his dome to the passage's far bend, staring laser. Sarah trailed his peepers, baffled. What? She husked. The dog loosed a curt, crisp yap, off-note from prior. No scare, no snap, pure alert. The bouncer squared. Peek it? One quizzed. Sarah bobbed. Something's pinged him and he ain't missed yet. The dog yapped fresh, louder, lunged off the cart. Frame flopped him. He yowled sore. Sarah palmed his dome calm. We'll chase your lead, she cooed low. She waved a bouncer to tail her to the dog's cue. The passage chilled abrupt, hushed, strung. As they bent the corner, rig drone faded under a spooky quiet. A stock door hung cracked, though locked tight usual. Sarah frowned. Wasn't gapped for. The bouncer nudged wider, spilling jumble. Toppled trolley, spilled crate, loose keys. Sarah's ticker revved. Fresh tracks. She glanced back at the dog who yapped louder, prodding them on. Whatever wrecked the boy, whatever bolt he'd busted, the heat lingered closer than reckoned. Sarah bolted back to the dog, pulse hammering each stride. The bouncers tailed tight, still shook by the stock-run find. The Labrador, though pooped and scarce lit ticks back, reared his dome as Sarah popped. Ears cocked, schnoz flaring like chasing a whiff solo he owned. Strained, he strained up anew. Whoa, whoa, Sarah breathed, fretting reflop, but he tuned her out. Guts fired fresh, punching through every ache. With quaky will, the dog slithered off cart, hitting tile wobbly. Pins shivered, but he locked upright. Peepers pinned same as his yap cue. Sarah sidled, lost. Scent? Foe? The dog took a rickety pace, then twin, chasing a trail solo he grokked. The bouncers swapped looks, one grumbling, "Hound just woke from wipeout and he's hunting." Sarah nodded crisp. "Whatever he's clocking, we tail." The dog hobbled the passage, each hike sore, yet each beat set. Schnoz skimmed tile, then lofted to ducts, mapping ghost path. He steered him past lounges, past snack slots, past gawking sick who gaped as the beat but ballsy cur drove like grunt on last op. At a fork, he stalled, snuffled deep and rumbled, the noise bass, mean, packed no. Sarah's breath snagged. "He owns the whiff, clocked it prior." The dog wheeled sharp left, hauling to the crash out at passage's end. The bouncers bolted front, banging the flap. Chill gust gushed in. The dog hobbled to the dim back lot rear clinic, puffs thick, but peepers knife. Mere yards off, by a weedy patch, hunkered something half-shrouded under fronds. The dog lurched to it, schnoz grazing dirt. Sarah dropped by and iced. 'Twas a cord-scrap dead ringer to the boy's wrist grooves. By it sprawled prints, wee panicked ones to clinic, bigs fading to scrub. Sarah's heart thumped. "He busted free and hound-tailed," she breathed. One bouncer dropped to probe turf. "Who were rigged, fresh drop." The dog snuffled the cord, then yapped crisp, wheeling to the murk scrub past fence. Stance snapped, no limp, no plea, locked, fueled. Sarah gulped hard. Word rang clear. The dog wasn't just dropping clues. He was dropping to the heel who bashed the boy. The dog edged scrub rim, schnoz twitching as he sucked deep. Pelt hackled, bass rumble thrumming chest. Sarah felt ice creep her spine. Bouncers swept beams to thicket, spilling stomped weed and snapped sticks in wild track. "Fled through here," one gruffed. The dog pressed, hobble but hell-bent, till he braked by churned muck. Sarah dropped, swept fronds, and locked. Wedged in clay was a rag scrap crimson, ripped brutal, strand snagged in dry sludge. One bouncer palmed it wary. "Yanked in tussle." Sarah's huff caught, matched the boy's shredded shirt hue. The dog snuffled the rag fierce, then yapped once, crisp sure ere tugging front. They tailed deeper to glade. Farther in, world hushed. No gust, no swish, no bugs, just spooky still, like scrub itself recalled rot. Paces on, the dog braked fresh, clawing turf wild sans heed to gimp pin. Sarah knelt by, shoving limbs till digits grazed chill. Metal, slick, warped, half sunk. She hauled slow, squinting dim. "It's a torch," she breathed, cracked and sludged. A bouncer lit it proper. "Ain't clinic issue, dropped mid-chase." The dog yapped fresh, louder, veering to near trunk. Sarah chased his stare and gut knotted. Cords draped slack from stout limb, fray tails swinging, twins to priors. They crept wary. Under limb sprawled bash signs, deep boot stamps, scratch gouges in clay, and tossed green circling. The bouncer blew sharp. "Here he got stashed." Sarah's ticker boomed ears. "Hound must have sniffed him here," she breathed, eyeing the pooped cur by. Cut loose and lugged clear to clinic. Like Echo, the dog nosed her mitt soft, then reared dome to twin track delving deeper scrub. New prints, thick, slanted, rushed, vanished to black. Bouncers swapped taut peaks. "Hookshire, no clean split," one husked. "Bolted," Sarah jawed tight, "and loose still." The dog paced print track, fresh, straining tail sans quacky pins. Sarah palmed his back. "Not yet," she cooed low. "You aced plenty." But the dog yowled, peepers begging like pleading chase. Bouncers eyed another ere one keyed rig. "Central, need hunt crew and scrub now. Sus heat spot. And as scrub beams sparked, truth smacked all. No mere proof. Hunt kickoff. Back clinic, the dog got carted home. Though he bucked flat till Sarah eased him, brisket rose uneven, drain cresting final. A vet on call hit, kneeling wary. "Scan his tag," she husked. Sarah petted the dog's dome steady as beeper chirped soft. Ticks on. Vet's mug flipped from focus to stun. "Ain't stray. He's logged as K9 Shadow, ex-cop cur MIA 4 weeks back." Sarah's huff snagged. "Ghosted. What went south?" Vet yanked log. "Says vanished mid-hunt op. Figured bolted or bashed lost." Sarah eyed the dog fresh lit. "No bolt. Hunting." Shadow reared dome faint, leaning her graze. Peepers packed drain depth and bond so thick it near cracked ribs. No chance savior. Ex-cop cur clocking shift post badge. One bouncer edged near. "Ghosted that stretch, then sniffed the boy." Sarah bobbed slow. "Stuck by," she breathed. "Warded, scrapped, lugged here." It hit the huddle like wave. Shadow hadn't snagged the boy random. Picked him. Refused split, even bashed, starved, pooped to flop. Gig flipped from badge to one wee spark. Vet clocked Shadow's ticker. Head shake soft. Parched fierce. Sinew rips, bone cracks, maybe, this wreck. Oughta dropped, not hike, let alone lug kid. Sarah's peepers burned, but he pulled. The dog's ears flicked like owning her words, stare darting knife wing anew where boy scrapped spark. Beat. Quaky. He strained up fresh. Sarah pressed light on shoulders. "Crash, beg. He's good now." But Shadow no ease. True. Peepers pinned knife flaps, waiting the boy he'd hauled from scrub. Vet sighed soft. "Bond's wild," bouncer chipped. "Hound no quit save. Flat refused." Sarah grazed pelt, tone scarce whisper. Her ward, no flop. Shadow winked slow, leaning graze. Frame final bowed to drain heft. Yet ere peepers shut, ears cocked to knife bay, still tuned to the kid he'd near flatlined to snatch. The scrub hummed wild, the eve all flipped. Gust swished limbs, nightbirds hooted far, fronds crunched under wee, wild paces. The young boy staggered through black. Wrists chafed raw from cord he'd final slipped. No clue destination, just bolt must, but no gleam, no grit, no ward. Puffs tore sharp quaky gasps. Astern, limbs cracked, heat tailed. Ticker boomed louder, and scrub. Tripped root, slammed hard, knees gashed. Axe lanced pins, but up he shoved. Must. Faint moon snagged crimson shred of his ripped shirt. Palmed bruised flanks, yipping soft. Scrub spooked him. Each shade menaced. Each noise struck, stumbled deeper black. Blind a twin gleam peepers clocked him from limbs. Not prowl, ward. K9 Shadow had tailed leagues. Shadow busted a snare that day. Lead slashed, gear shredded, op half done. Lost pack original, but guts no halt hunt. Clocked kids meek yip, chased sound ruthless. Each keen yanked nearer till found boy scrub floor quaking scare. Crept slow, wary, dipped dome no spook. Boy reared, peepers saucer, then flopped to pelt, bawling. Dog pressed soft, grokking all wordless. Ticks on, twig cracked fresh, same paces back. Boy locked terror, clutched Shadow's scruff. Shadow's frame taut instant. Planted twixt boy and threat drift. Shade shape ghosted limbs, hunting, grumbling sour. Shadow rumbled, base, deep plain. Shape iced, clocking no solo with weak kid. When dude edged near, Shadow vaulted front with boss yap booming scrub. Dude swore, reeled back, snagged roots ere sprint black. Threat peeled. Shadow looped boy, nosing soft. Boy bawled to pelt fresh, breathing, "Stay, no ditch." Shadow no pause. Pressed flank urge climb back. Two beat to hoof. Frame shook drain whole. With quaky mitts, looped neck. Shadow braced, felt load settle. Took prime hike. Slow, wary, warding, kicking long trek to safe. Scrub yawned endless for, but no stop. Hour on hour, Shadow lugged through dense green, sheer rises, chill rills. Sinews quaked, pins bucked times but drove. When boy slipped, stalled, reset no tumble. When yipped ache, lapped mitt soothe. One tick, breathed, grats, no let flat. Shadow answered soul way, hoofing front, pace after brute pace, will tougher and crush load. Ere crack dawn, clocked gleams afar, clinic. Last steam, beelined it. The knife gleams dimmed, and strain thickening haul eased slow as bay flap swung. Doctor. Thompson crossed, yanking mask low, drained thick mug. Sarah popped up, ticker thumping. "He?" she breathed. Medic bobbed. "Pulled through chop, steady now but frail bad." Ease crashed Sarah near knee-buck, bolted in cleared, finding wee boy bunked under heat throws, screens chirping mild round. Bay felt breakable, hush, bright. Sarah neared, sweeping mop strand from brow, hide still ashen, but puffs firmer. "Good now," Sarah breathed, tone quaky. Ticks past ere boy's lids batted. Slow, peepers cracked, lost, spooked, questing. Sarah leaned quick. "Cool, champ. Clinic turf." "Good." Boy winked slow grok. Lips cracked dry, quaky and tick. Sarah fretted mute. Then scarce huff, boy piped one word. "Shadow." Sarah iced. Jolt chest deep. Boy's peepers welled. Wee shoulders shook under throw. Strained sit, but frame too frail. Sarah eased down soft. "Here," she cooed. "Good, hauled you to us." Boy's mug eased, dim grinned through ache. "No ditch," he breathed. Sarah gulped thick. "Nah." Kid gripped Sarah's digits, clung calm. "Want a peep?" he husked, tone cracking yearn. Sarah hung, hound still mending, dripped and scarce lit, but clocked scare in boy's peepers, must for soul trust. "Lemme scan," Sarah vowed. Boy bobbed faint, peepers shut drain, as Sarah crossed bay, found aids bunched by Shadow's cart. Lit now though scarce reared dome door creak, ears cocked Sarah near, sans ach, strained stand fresh. Sarah knelt by, tears loose final. "Lit," she breathed. Shadow's tail smacked faint cart. "Called ya." Dog shoved elbows, quaking effort, wild. Sarah shook dome. Nah, no stir. I'll tote." Shadow's peepers warmed, but bucked flat till Sarah palmed chest light. "Swear," she breathed. "Peep soon." Only then eased, huff shaky. Sarah stood, glancing twin bays, one kid clawing steam, one hound through hurt, lashed bond word deep. Badges hit clinic pre-sunup, pinged by scrub-proof and boys' state. Sarah steered to rear flap where cord, prints, cracked torch snagged. Hunt crews raked green when one badge neared Sarah. "Prints from Glade Fresh," he said. "Whoe'er, short bolt." The dog, Shadow, cocked ears at badge tone, clocking air flip. Beat, stayed sharp, sniffing strain thick. In scrub, badges tailed thick prints through dense green till crude camp hid back drop logs, shred rags, chucked chow wraps, half-charred jacket strewed turf. One badge palmed jacket, spilling stitched tag in, proof ditched in heel panic. "Split quick," head badge gruffed. "New shadow-tailed." Ticks on, cur pack rolled with hounds, joining rake. Badges swapped set nods. Hunt locked. Track delved green till badges hit slim, cut through highweed. End hunkered wee ghost shack. Flap sagged crook. In, prints dusted deck and lone lamp smashed. Then chilled find. Cell cracked but live. Badge scrolled fresh texts, peepers saucer. Plotted shift him fresh, he said. Eve for sniff. Badges no more fuel need. Proof bagged, swelled rake ring. Hellbent snag heel air bolt zone. Back clinic, Sarah briefed Shadow on probe roll like he grokked each. And ways he did. Ears flicked cop rigs crackle near. Sudden voice through badge squawk. Heat pinned, repeat, heat pinned. Bolt hoof. Shadow instant, strained up. Pins quaky under. Loosed crisp yap. Peepers blaze to wrap what kicked. Sarah palmed shoulders hold. Aced plenty, she breathed, though knew he burned ward to end. Ticks on, badges squawked close. Heat bagged, repeat, heat bagged. Ease flushed clinic passage. Sarah huffed shaky, tears bite peepers. Shadow's frame final eased like gig-wrapped true. Badge neared Sarah, thanks, thick tone. Your cur snatched spark and dropped trail to snag heel. Sarah eyed Shadow. Sentry tired to knife bay. No, my cur, she breathed. Hers. And as badges hauled rotter off, one truth locked. Shadow no mere snatch. Dropped right, the hush chirp screens stuffed mend bay, as young boy slow stirred lit. Lashes batted and he wheeled dome faint, wince neck sore. Sarah bedside primed, dealing calm grin. Good, she breathed mild. Boy winked, grok spot. Peepers roved bay, white panels, mild gleams, throws tucked neat round. But miss, puffs quicked. Where? Shadow? He breathed, tone quaky. Sarah leaned near, thumb graze mitt soft. Clinic here, she said. Crashing. Boy shook dome faint, tears pool eye corners. Need, he husked. Stuck by, no let snag. Tone cracked, scare crest threaten. Sarah gripped mitt firm. Cool, champ. Near. Good and weighted. Boy's quiver eased tad, but peepers packed yearn. Strained sit, but ache gasped. Sarah propped soft. Light, Sarah cooed low. Through hell. Boy reared her, tone scarce. Can? Peep, beg? Plea no play. Raw, frail, straight. Sarah's heart wrenched. No we ask. Anchor to good and bright. Sarah bobbed slow. Tote him, she vowed. But hold still. Mend frame. Boy bobbed faint. Bunked pillows. Wee digits clung Sarah's mitt like ghost fear. Snatched me, he breathed. Scared bad, no split. Sarah petted mop. Tone melt further. No split tick, she husked. Beat, drove on. Boy shut peepers, huff shaky. Figured ghosted, he breathed, but he sniffed. Shadow hit. Each word hauled hell weathered. Sarah felt tears bite, held. Leaned close, pecked brow soft. Tote, vowed fresh. Boy's digits eased tad, faith her. Sarah stood, crossed bay, huff shaky. Passage down, Shadow carted, peepers half lit, but door creak, reared dome. Sarah grinned through feel, chest vise. Called ya, she breathed. Shadow strained up sans mend. Sarah grokked no world split now. Sarah slow-wheeled Shadow's cart down hush clinic passage, mitts steady, but ticker raced. The Labrador, though frail reared dome ticks. Peepers front like sensed turf. Light boy, Sarah breathed. Near. Ears flicked boy's screen chirp faint from bay front, sans drip and raps flank pin. Shadow strained upright fresh. Sarah eased down soft. Waits ya, she husked. Cart crossed frame. Boy's peepers cracked instant, like heart clocked forebrain. Huff caught. Tears welled. Shadow, he breathed, mitt out quaky. Shadow piped bass feel whine, reared sans ache. Sarah propped quick. Aid rise just paw bed edge. Boy loosed wee sob ease. Digits rove pelt shaky mitts. Tick shadow felt graze. Frame melt whole. Tail smacked faint cart. Strain all thaw to fond. Boy leaned front, brow to brow. Breathed words none else caught. Sarah peeled back. Space gift. Tears quiet fog peepers. Aid's bunched frame watched mute. Hit by lash, twixt beat kid and cur refused ditch, even own spark risk. Boy grazed jowl frail tips. Back, he breathed. Shadow-nosed soft, schnoz palm press. Sarah gulped thick. No split, she cooed low. Tailed scrub, warded, lugged, dropped us. Boy bobbed. Tears track cheeks. No scare with, he husked. Ache all stuck. Tone cracked. Shadow piped whine soft, pressed near. Sarah neared slow, palm soothe shoulder. Good now, you too. Boy bunked pillows, mitt lock shadow dome. Stay? He quizzed. Scare flicker fresh. Sarah grinned warm. No bolt. Shadow bunked bed flank. Peepers final shut. No drain loan. But peace. Prime since scrub hit, gig wrapped. And boy, we mitt grip pelt. Final good enough to crash. Morn gleam spilled mild through clinic panes as Dr. Thompson crossed bay, mug soft warm. Boy slept peace, mitt on shadow pelt. Cur slept too, brisket rise steady. Final, fear free. Sarah table end, idem mix ease awe. Pulled, medic husked quiet. Sarah bobbed, tears pool. No quit. Medic neared, eyed boy's slate. Wildy hung, wilder cur did. Later morn, clinic crew bunched out bay as badges rolled official word. One badge fronted huddle. K9 shadow no mere spark snatch, he said. Dropped trail snag heel. Sands, case hung. Sarah felt swell chest. Wee boy stirred lit, winked badges. Shadow reared dome too, clocked vibe flip. Sarah leaned. Here 'cause yous, she breathed. Badge neared bed, dropped knee by boy mild grin. Gutsy, he cooed low. Boy shook dome, grazed shadow ear. He's guts, he breathed. Shadow nosed mitt near bash shy. Badge chuckled. Ditto. Palmed poke, yanked wee silver tag charm. His, he said, clip collar soft. Guts wild. Sarah's peepers welled instant. Boy's grin quaked feel as breathed. My ace. Word flew clinic quick. Crew sick. Even guests bunched passage glimpse legend cure, lugged beat kid through, scrubbed to good. Aides toted snacks. Kids scratched shadow picks. Grown wiped peepers quiet. Sarah eyed as boy sat aid. Mitt no quit pelt. Now what? He quizzed shy. Sarah dropped by. Mend, she cooed mild. He mend side ya. Boy bobbed, leaned cur, snatched spark. That eve, as sun sank low, slinging gold warm bay, boy breathed Sarah something. Stay side? Shadow reared dome, eyed 'em. Sarah grinned soft. Reckon picked. And just pre-vid rap, word popped screen. If tail hit, no skip like, pass, sub. Bell ping no miss next wild yarn guts. Bond bright. Shadow bunked dome soft boy lap. Proof aces no capes. Hoof 4.